Good afternoon, everyone. It's Tuesday the 23rd of November, about 10 past 5 UK time, 10 past 12 American Eastern time. Well, as you can see, the trend situation on VectorVest USA has got one heck of a lot of red there. And yesterday we had a confirmed down signal. So all of the measures of the trend on VectorVest are down. And as you can see, the S&P's off 15 points. The Nasdaq is off 180 points, and the Dow, the big 30 stocks, flattish. I've had some trades. I had a good trade yesterday, NVDA, NVIDIA, which went bad very quickly indeed. So we have a look at these. I've kept them all in there, but that's builders. I've still got a position running in builders from last week based on market going sideways, volume falling, pretty straightforward, and that trade is still running. I've got my stop at entry. Now that's NVIDIA, and I traded this bit, and then I couldn't resist this pullback and falling volume, and I managed to buy in there at 320. And I was sitting very, very happy yesterday afternoon after the UK Q&A. It went to a 1.618 extension of the pullback, and I, in fact, got out of half at slightly above 340. Got my stop to entry, and then, of course, it came right back on me and stopped me out. So give the second half back, but no money made, no money lost. That's the important thing. So one hell of a turnaround in tech stocks yesterday afternoon. It happened, although that looks as if it took a day. That actually went up there and reversed in half an hour nearly. So this is HLI. HLI I got out of the Midas Touch watch list. Again, we can see price running up on huge volume and then going sideways, and it's still hanging in there. Slightly underwater that, because I bought in just at the open of that day after this green bar. So that one's still hanging in. Need to be careful there because the general market is falling. That's Home Depot, also came out of the Midas Touch watch list. And again, going sideways. Volume's not that definitive here, but it broke out in huge volume, closed at the high of the day, and normally you get some follow through on that. So that's the entry point. That's the initial stop, but the stop is now at entry, and I've taken off a little bit. SPX, well, we got the same reversal as we saw on the Nasdaq type shares, and that's the GDX. Gold, as you know, was going south, and I was stopped out of that at the entry point. Didn't make any money, didn't get a chance to get my stop to entry, just exited yesterday when I saw gold was in free fall. So that's what I've been doing in the US market, folks. Just be very careful indeed. This market, if we go back to the VectorVest composite now and have a look. I might have it open. I don't think I have. Go to the VectorVest composite, and we can see buy-sell ratios clearly below 1, 0.68. This has, let's get rid of the 6-month chart. This has broken this level, and that would have been a pretty obvious support level that orders would have come in, and it's gone right through that like a knife through butter. Next level will be down here, and so we just have to be careful. The trend is down, and there's nothing to do unless you're actually shorting the market. So in the UK, well, the UK for once is a little bit stronger. The short-term trend is down, been down now for the last 4 days. Underlying trend is up. VectorVest does not advocate buying stocks at this time. That's been the situation for the last 3 or 4 days. I'm still holding stocks here, and I have got. I'm watching Volex very carefully. it was a penny away from being stopped out of today. And Sylvania, clearly the platinum price today has fallen through the floor. I would expect that to have fallen quite a bit as well. I'm reasonably happy with the rest of them. I see that Cape Tech was up today in a very weak market, so reasonably happy with the rest of them. There's always one at the bottom of the portfolio to keep your eye on, but the platinum price has pulled back strongly. It needs to find support on the next at a major support level on the weekly chart. If it doesn't, then Sylvania will go. Volex seems to be beating out a bottom. It had an up day yesterday, as you can see, and that up day occurred on reasonable volume, which is optimistic. But nevertheless, the share's gouging down around the lows of yesterday today. So I think those two will have to go. I'm certainly not going to lose any decent money in them. But at the moment, they're hanging around support levels. I'm not that unhappy with them. The rest of the stocks are doing well. I'm not going to buy anything more until the general market moves up. The one share that I am looking at, if I can get to my stock viewer, I spoke about this yesterday in our UK Q&A, is Future. Future, it's trading above the VectorVest valuation, so I would look upon it as a swing trade. It's got a great RV, it's got a great RS, should grow earnings at 37%. The long-term trend's outstanding. If we have a look at the chart, this is a really good example of a swing trade, and I'll get rid of volume for a moment. As you can see, it's pulled back, and to that resistance has become support, and it charted a beautiful little hammer pattern right at that level. Now, I started life as a chartist, so I've got an eye for these patterns, but to me that looks like a flag, and that's one of the patterns that we teach in our precision swing trading course. I think Steve Chappell does that bit. And this is what technicians would refer to as a tight flag. Although it came off that trend line yesterday, and clearly short-term traders bought it down around the low, and they used the trend line as a first target. So it came off a little bit there. What is of interest is the MACD, because if we put the MACD on here, from this low up to here, clearly we're making a rising bottom, but the MACD is making a falling bottom, and it's already crossed over. And that's what's called reverse divergence, and that is a really good leading indicator of a resumption of the trend. It's still too early yet, so let's just sit and be patient, wait for a close or a couple of closes above that trend line, wait for a VectorVest buy recommendation, and of course wait for the advice on the front page of VectorVest to say that it's safe to buy stocks. The American market has come an awful long way, folks, and we can quite easily, even under the most positive circumstances, go into a period of 10 days of corrective waves. So it's moved up very, very strongly, and we saw that pattern. If we look back to the American market, we had this huge directional move up, and it's come back a lot, but I wouldn't be at all surprised to see this go sideways for quite a bit of time yet before we get any more positive action. So I remain positive, but as there's probably a bit of noise to come here. Those of you in the UK, I think you've got a little bit of work to do. I've got a little bit of work to do on shares that are at the bottom of our portfolio as sorted by RT. We don't want to take a loss or any sizable loss there. And remember, folks, that the biggest loss that you should take is 1 or 2% of your portfolio. I'd be happy with 1%, but if you decide to stretch it to 2%, that's okay. So the difference between your entry point and your stop loss should represent about 2% of your account. If it goes to 2.5, it's not the end of the world. But position sizing, as I keep rattling away on at our Q&A things, is going to keep you alive. So if we go back to the front page of VectorVest US, which is running, nothing has changed here, and an awful lot of red. Time to sit in our hands, time to watch stop losses on open positions very, very carefully indeed. So I hope you found that useful. I didn't do any of these videos last week because I was busy with shows. I have another show on Friday, but I'll try and get a video in on Thursday. Just be careful out there, folks. Thank you.